Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing great. This is your educator Shruti and welcome to my channel Prepare with Shruti. So this is the third part of Modern Indian History series where we would be discussing some very important topics from your exam point of view based on the analysis of the previous year UPSC Prelims question papers from 2008 till 2019. Now this video would be very useful not only for the aspirants who are preparing for the UPSC Prelims exam but also for the aspirants who are preparing for state public services like the APSC or other states or any other government exam, because modern India is an integral component of the general studies paper. And if you want to get a good score in the GS paper, it's very important for you to ensure that you are able to solve almost all the questions which are being asked from this section correctly in the exam. So whatever topics that we are going to discuss in today's class and whatever topics that we have been discussing over the course of our previous classes as well, all these topics of modern Indian history are extremely important from your exam point of view, and whenever you are preparing your modern Indian history or revising your modern Indian history, do give proper attention to these topics. They would really help you in getting a great score in the exam. So if you want to make the most of this video, do watch it till the end. Okay, so you can read about me here, and if you find my videos useful, then please subscribe to my channel Prepare with Shruti and do click on the bell icon as well so that you are updated every time I upload any new video. And please like and share these videos as well, because it would really motivate me to constantly come up with good and relevant content for you. You can also connect with me on my Facebook page Prepare with Shruti. So having said all of that, let us get started with today's class. So the first topic that we are going to discuss in today's class, and which is very important from your exam point of view, is the topic of your Civil Disobedience Movement. Now this topic is very important from the point of view of your competitive exams, and whenever you are reading your basic textbooks, be it the NCERTs or the Spectrum or Bipan Chandra, always read the chapter on Civil Disobedience Movement properly. I would also like to add that whenever you are preparing these movements, be it the Civil Disobedience Movement, the Non-Cooperation Movement or the Quit India Movement, always focus on the cause of the movement, the course of the movement and the consequence of the movement. So cause, course and consequence should be the kind of framework that you should have in mind whenever you are preparing these different movements. Okay? So with that, let us dive into the questions. The first question is, which of the following began with Dandi March? And this was asked in the year 2009. The options are A. Home Rule Movement, B. Non-Cooperation Movement, C. Civil Disobedience Movement and D. Quit India Movement. Now it's a very simple question to solve if one is familiar with what the Civil Disobedience Movement is all about. And if you have read your basic textbook properly, you can easily identify that in this question the correct answer is C, that is the Civil Disobedience Movement. Okay, so this Civil Disobedience Movement started with the Dandi March on 12th of March 1930 from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi on Gujarat coast, and on 6th of April Gandhiji broke the salt law by making salt from seawater. Okay, so here the answer is C, that is the Civil Disobedience Movement. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Who of the following organized a march on Tanjore coast to break the salt law in April 1930? And this was asked in 2015. The options are V.O. Chidambaram Pillai, option B, C. Rajagopalachari, option C, K. Kamraj, and option D, Annie Besant. Now, again, this is a very factual question, and if you have read your basic textbook properly, you can easily identify the correct option in this question. And here the answer is C, Rajagopalachari. That is your option B. Okay, option B is the correct answer here. So, let me tell you a few other important facts as well regarding the course of Civil Disobedience Movement. So, first is that in Tamil Nadu, as is given in the question, in April 1930, C. Rajagopalachari organized a march from Tiruchirappalli to Vedaranayam on Tanjore coast to break the salt law. Then in Malabar, you had K. Kelappan, very famous for Vaikom Satyagraha and also known as Kerala Gandhi. He organized salt marches. Then in Assam, during the civil disobedience movement, there was a successful student strike against the Cunningham Circular. This Cunningham Circular is important because it banned student participation in politics. Then in Peshawar, you had your Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, famously known as Frontier Gandhi, and he organized a volunteer brigade known as Khudai Khidmatkars or Red Shirts. And this volunteer brigade is important because it pledged to freedom struggle and non-violence. During the course of civil disobedience movement, there was also this Tharasana Salt Satyagraha carried out by Sarojini Naidu, Imam Sahib and Manilal sometime in May 1930. And obviously there were leaders like Rani Gaidin Liu who also played a very important role as far as your civil disobedience movement is concerned. So these are a few important facts from the point of view of your exam related to the course of civil disobedience movement. So whenever you are, reading the chapter on civil disobedience movement from your basic textbook, always keep these facts in mind. Okay. Now let's look at the next topic, which is your Crips Mission. Again, Crips Mission is a very important topic, and whenever you are preparing Crips Mission, along with the Crips Mission, also focus properly on individual satyagraha, August offer, Wavell plan and all of that. Okay, all these topics are also equally important from your exam point of view. Now let's look at the question. The plan of Sir Stafford Cripps envisaged that after the Second World War, and this was asked in 2016, option A, India should be granted complete independence. Option B, India should be partitioned into two before granting independence. Option C, India should be made a republic with the condition that she will join the Commonwealth. And option D, India should be given dominion status. Now, if you look at this question carefully, you would realize that this question revolves around the basic features, the important characteristics or the salient features of Crips Mission. So if you have read your textbook properly, you can easily identify that in this question, the correct answer is D, that is India should be given dominion status. Okay? Yes, so here the answer is D. Now, let me tell you briefly about this Crips Mission. The 1942 Crips Mission was headed by Sir Stafford Cripps, and the main aim of this Crips Mission was to seek Indian support for the war. Now, this mission, in order to, gain India's support for the war, it proposed an Indian Union with a dominion status. It also proposed a constituent assembly to be convened after the war to frame a new constitution. And it proposed that any province which was not willing to join the union could have a separate constitution and could form a separate union. So these are a few important features as far as your Crips Mission is concerned. You can cover it from any basic textbook that you have been following, and you should also remember that this was objected by Congress as well as Muslim League. Okay. Now, let's look at the next question. Who among the following were official Congress negotiators with the Crips Mission? And this was asked in the year 2010. The options are A. Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Patel. Option B, Acharya J.B. Kriplani and C. Rajagopalachari. Option C, Pandit Nehru and Maulana Azad. And option D, Dr. Rajendra Prasad and Rafi Ahmad Kidwai. Again, a very factual question, and here the answer is C, that is Pandit Nehru and Maulana Azad. Okay. Now let's look at the next important topic, which is your Quit India movement. Now, Quit India movement is linked to your Cripps proposals, and as you guys know, Quit India movement was launched because Cripps Mission failed to solve the constitutional deadlock in India. Okay, so with that background, let us start looking at the question. The first question is, Quit India movement was launched in response to, and this was asked in 2013. The options are A. Cabinet Mission Plan, B. Cripps Proposals, C. Simon Commission Report, and D. Wavell Plan. So as we just discussed that, Quit India movement was launched because of the failure of Cripps Mission to solve the constitutional deadlock in India. And in this case, the answer would be B, that is Cripps Proposals. Okay, now as I told you while we were talking about the civil disobedience movement, whenever you are preparing this Quit India movement, always look at the cause of the movement, then focus on the course of the movement followed by the consequence of the movement. So course, course and consequence are the three stages that you should focus upon whenever you are preparing this Quit India movement. Now let's look at the next question. Which of the following observations is not true about the Quit India movement of 1942? And this was asked in 2011. The options are A. It was a non-violent movement. B. It was led by Mahatma Gandhi. C. It was a spontaneous movement. And D. It did not attract the labor class in general. Now, a lot of you might be confused between option A and option B. But let me tell you that option A here is not the answer, because even though, there were instances of violence in some of the phases of Quit India movement, it cannot be considered as a violent movement in its totality. Here, option B is the answer, and I'll tell you why. Now, if you guys remember reading about this Quit India movement, you would recall that on 8th of August 1942, Gandhiji gave his famous do and die call. Okay, and the very next morning of 9th August, all the top leaders of Indian National Congress were arrested and taken to unknown destination. So whatever movement happened, it was very, very spontaneous in nature. It was a leaderless movement, and therefore it would be wrong to say that it was led by Mahatma Gandhi. So in this context, here the answer would be B, that is, it is not true that it was led by Mahatma Gandhi. Okay. Now, let me tell you briefly about the phases of Quit India movement, very, very important from your exam point of view. So the first phase was the phase of urban revolt, and it revolved around strikes, boycotts and picketing. During the second phase, the movement had spread to countryside, and it was marked by peasant rebellions, attack on government buildings, destruction of communication system, railway tracks, telegraph wires and so on. A very important point regarding the second phase is the formation of national or parallel governments, and this is very, very important. For example, in Balia, parallel government was formed by Chittu Pandey. In Satara, parallel government or Prati Sarkar was formed by Y.B. Chavan and Nana Patil, and in Tamluk also parallel government was formed in the form of Jatiya Sarkar. So this is the second phase. And in the third phase, a lot of leaders like Ram Manohar Lohia, Jai Prakash Narayan, Aruna Asaf Ali, all these leaders, they went underground, and there were secret radio stations which were being operated by personalities like Usha Mehta. And apart from these underground activities, bands of ordinary peasants organized subversive actions by night, which is famously known as Karnataka method. Okay, so these are a few important points. Then let's look at the next question. With reference to Indian freedom struggle, Usha Mehta is well known for, and this was asked in 2011, and we just talked about it. She was well known for running the secret Congress radio in the wake of Quit India movement. Okay, so this is the answer. And that was all for today's class. Keep looking at these previous year questions. They would really help you in getting a great score in the exam. And if you found my video useful, then please subscribe to my channel and do click on the bell icon for latest updates. Have a nice day, guys. Thank you.